Hi everybody, I'm Frank Falcon, and this is how I'm finding my freedom. I moved to Wyoming 6 years ago, mostly in support of the Wyoming branch of the Free State Project. Even back then, I was finding my freedom. Although I didn't expect it, I also found freedom in the academic world. Freedom to inquire, freedom to explore my passions. At first, I mostly took online classes, and this really helped me develop a strong sense of independence and self-reliance. I like to continually raise the bar though. I like the feedback from other students and instructors, so this steered me more towards campus life. With this freedom, I found that I couldn't decide on one degree. Social work, sociology, communications, anthropology, linguistics, political science, marketing, social media, the performing arts. So many topics. I found my freedom in pursuing a social science degree. For me, it all just ties together quite neatly. The University of Wyoming had an honors program when I decided to resume my studies, but it was very different than it is today. I wanted a side project to complement my studies. I learn well by doing. Being a fan of ethnography and seeing that the performing arts were underdeveloped in Wyoming, I decided to go way beyond my comfort level. So I bought a pro wrestling ring during spring break, and I launched Big Sky Entertainment. Now, fortunately for all, the honors program is now a college in its own right, and it actually requires a research project. So I suppose I've always been a bit of a futurist, studying trends and realizing when there's more potential. I also had the opportunity to cover several movements like the Tea Party, Occupy Wall Street, and the Arab Spring as a journalist. I saw that freedom meant different things to different people, but there was usually some overlap though. And this is when I decided that I wanted to be more of a bridge for these different groups of Americans and for others. For me, freedom keeps me coming back to the social science degree that I'm about to complete. It's a very solid foundation. We usually tend to think of cultures mostly along national or ethnic lines, but we have a lot of them in our own backyard. Motorcycle culture is one that I've been seeing for the last 6 years. People are always traveling through Wyoming to get to the Sturgis rally. I just didn't have a motorcycle to join in. When reviewing the academic literature, it does seem like there's still quite a bit of room for study of the motorcycle culture, and I would love to be able to include this culture within my research in my honors college project at the University of Wyoming. And honestly, being only a few hours from Sturgis, I seem to be running out of excuses. World Championship Wrestling had a very successful run with motorcycle culture in the late 90s, and that successful marriage of American cultures leaves me with the sense that it really should be continued. My company is mostly known for pro wrestling, but it also includes comedy and live music. We're going on 4 years, and in that time, I've learned a lot. But of course, there's always room to learn more. My experiences have really shown me quite a few recurring lessons, though, mostly around the area of teamwork, the value of diversity, and to really always strive for creativity. Also knowing when to lead, when to be a model of integrity, but also knowing when to take more of a humble path and just be the lifelong student. Some of the other lessons include fostering community. This is where my experience and interest in marketing and social media comes in. How do you motivate people to leave the warmth of their homes for an event during the winter? I've also worked with many artists and other promoters, and I really need to give credit to these people that I've worked with because Big Sky isn't just my organization. I think Octavia Butler said it best when she wrote, "All that you touch, you change. All that you change, changes you." Putting together events or breathing life into any idea or concept can be pretty challenging, and we may not be able to anticipate every little challenge that comes our way, but these are opportunities to rise to the occasion. Eventually, reflexivity just becomes second nature. Stumbling blocks then aren't really stumbling blocks. They're opportunities to learn for better outcomes, to grow. My research project also integrates well with the nonprofit sector, particularly with fundraising. I ended up working with my local Santa's helpers. Body slams and laughs are great, but they're even better if there's a purpose. And this is also freedom. This is freedom to shape the world. The direction that my research is going also puts me in a perfect position to study American culture in a very rich way. All cultures have their own argot, or jargon specific to them. This language has a very cohesive effect for the cultures, though, and at the same time, this also gives me the freedom to study my passion of social linguistics. Context also ties in very well with other fields like anthropology, social movements, and how they develop. On a personal note, being focused on patterns and trends like I tend to do, I've seen some continual overlap. It's rather difficult to divorce wrestling and motorcycle culture. I see freedom everywhere. I can't really turn it off, nor would I want to. I studied Berber language this semester, and Berbers call themselves the Amazigh or the Amaziren, which roughly translates to the free people. One of the first things I thought about when I heard about this internship was how some of the characters of the Tifinagh Berber script look like handlebars on a motorcycle. The Berbers have been finding their freedom for centuries. From a scholarly perspective, from the standpoint of social ethics, and from general curiosity and lifelong development, freedom is constant. For these reasons, I am among the ideal candidates for the Find Your Freedom internship. I'm continuing to find my freedom. Now I'm aiming to do so with Harley-Davidson. And I also want to make sure that others too can find and define their freedom as well.